Welcome back to the Spud
and Sweet Potato podcast.
I like to call it a life cast.
It has been a while since we did a podcast.
It has been quite a while.
I think I just looked and it's been about a month. So you've not been feeling that great, have you?
No.
No, but you're feeling up to it today, so woohoo.
We'll do it.
I'm glad. As you see, we've been got our Starbucks. The last time we did a podcast, we talked about moving to Welland, your dad's accident, my mom's accident, and so I think we're at starting the church.
Yeah,
we talked a little bit about that.
With
starting the church
with the
and then
men coming up and
right. So we had the first building that we rented was the Lions Club. Then we went from there to the tiny.
While we were in that building, there were a lot of different ones. Remember, we talked about in one of the videos, we talked about the wrestling service.
Right, so we couldn't have it.
So there was a lot of times there would be events, weddings, stuff like that we couldn't have a service there. So we would we rented the Moose Lodge. We rented the arena.
The hockey arena. I forgot about that.
And then one time we couldn't get anything anywhere. Remember, we
went to the park.
We had what we called old-fashioned.
That was so. I'll never forget Mr. and Mrs. Thompson.
Yeah.
They dressed the best.
Yeah, and even Ed Kolnicki did.
Yep. That was nice. That was a nice park. And then from there, we bought the little building in Market Square. Mm-hmm. Just one used to be the DMV or whatever they called Service Ontario.
We had to mortgage our house to get it.
We did. We put a mortgage on our house
to be able to get it.
And got
it was the day of. We were supposed to close, and they called and said we were going to close. Something was wrong. Right. And then we got a call from the attorney's office that said if you are ever going to close on this, you got to do it now.
Wasn't it Good Friday or the day before Good Friday or something like that? It was right Easter weekend.
I don't know, but I know we had to go quick. We ran down to the attorney's office.
We had to demo. The big counter they have at the DMV.
Yep.
That was all there. So how big would you say that room was?
20 by 30.
20 by 30, and we could fit 30 chairs. Mm-hmm. So we could fit 30.
Small.
And then a little,
had a baptistry.
You built a baptistry into it, and had one little restroom, and then that little hallway at the back, and then you had your office in the back corner.
Little office.
Yep. So
and then we couldn't.
We were there.
We needed a place for a nursery, so we ended up buying a camper,
which was a great idea.
Hodgkins and I tore the inside out. We remodeled. It was beautiful.
I miss him. I still miss Dave Hodgkins.
Me too.
He passed away. What did he have? Esophageal cancer?
Yeah, esophageal cancer.
Oh, he was so young. He was probably
55.
Now he's probably, I was going to say, our age.
55. He was younger than me.
Yeah, right between you and me. Mm-hmm. Oh, he was a good man.
Yeah, he certainly was. Sure did love them.
But when you first thought of the idea, I'm like, and it's typical for me, I'm like, any kind of, outside the box idea, at first I'm just like, I don't know. But I usually come around. And that was such a good idea. And surprisingly, the parents didn't, it wasn't like, what? You want our kids to go to camper?
We bought that from Seaway Trailers, a big trailer place. Yeah. Only to find out after we had sold the building that they didn't have it wasn't theirs. They didn't have a right to sell it. I don't know how.
Not our circus, not our monkeys. At that point, it wasn't.
I don't know. It's like it have nothing to do with us.
But you guys completely gutted it, and it was wall-to-wall carpet, and even they put probably 3 feet up the wall carpet. It was the carpet went up the wall, so the kids were, and it was nice. Had a ledge on it. I don't know why there was a ledge. Why was there a ledge? I remember there being a ledge. Doesn't matter.
I don't.
But it was nice. It was just steps from the building. Mm-hmm. So you just walk out that side door, up the steps to the camper into the nursery.
Lots of room for the kids to play.
It was great. It was a really good situation.
Yeah, it really was.
And then we were there for how long? Because we started the church in 2004. How long were we? I don't remember those years. How many years we were there? I can look back.
We bought the building, I think, in 2006.
It was 2009 that we got Division Street.
It was before Walter passed away in 2006, and we got it just before he passed away.
Okay.
So I think we got it probably the beginning of 2006. He passed away in 2006, later in 2006. And then I think we were there until 2009 is when we bought
2009 for sure. I remember that for sure. That's when we bought Division Street.
Yep.
2009. Yep. In 2012, we moved to Chaffee.
About three years.
That was a good 3 years, though.
It was.
That little tiny building, we met so many
Started
people.
the school there.
We started the school there. We had the Teen Extreme from Bethel came. The Watsons, that was the first time we met the Watsons, who are our dear friends to this day. And like that, a lot of stuff we built. But that's the thing about that building. I feel like we built a lot of relationships.
I don't think
that we still have to this day.
I don't think Doug and Lisa came to do any working projects. We did all the working projects.
No, that was at
They
Division
didn't come
Street.
till Division Street.
They came for VBS.
They came for VBS.
And I think they came before we had a building because they did backyard
did.
Bible clubs. Because remember, because we went to Mr. Anderson's house. Yeah. Yep. That ended up being our house.
And so, so they didn't
Right.
do any. But then when we got Division Street, I had what we call, well, I just jokingly said, because that was, I think, Calvary Chapel was where Doug and Lisa were at that time. They came.
Yeah.
And brought a whole group of men with them, and they did this like
huge remodel.
Extreme makeover. We called it for 1 week. They were there for 1 week, and it was like we called it the Extreme Church Makeover.
They widened that stairwell. They built the sound booth in the back.
all kinds
They
of
painted that big pointy thing
So
at the top.
when they came, we warned them ahead of time. When you cross the border, don't ask questions.
Don't be funny.
Don't be funny. Just answer what they only
Which they had
answer
crossed
what
the
they
border
asked
before,
for,
yeah.
and come across, because you don't. That's after 9/11 though. So it was like, just don't cause any waves. And so they were getting ready to leave, and 3 of the older men, they were probably in their 40s, 50s, and they were getting ready to go. They were going to take the church van back with them. And so they put a lot of their tools in there. And then there was another family that had come up with a baby. So they had,
I think it was Doug and
all sorts
Lisa's
of
baby stuff,
gear and stuff like that. So they put all that in the van. And I said, you guys are going to get stopped. They're going to look at this and they're going to say, there's tools, there's baby gear, and 3 middle-aged men. There's something not right here.
They pulled them over. I don't know. It was a few hours.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Denny?
Randy's never left the country since.
And
Denny's still bitter about it.
Denny's still bitter about it.
But that was such a blessing. It's just that in that building though, back to Market Square, it was great. Like the kids raised money for camp. Remember they sold pop and at the market, and we had
a lot of groups come in there too. We had the group from Saginaw, Michigan that came, and
that was at Division
Cowling.
Street.
I can't think of his name.
That was Scott Cowling.
Scott Cowling, yeah.
From
he
our
brought a
Baptist
youth
church.
group, yeah. And he came, and they brought a big
At Division
bus
Street.
full of kids, and they all slept in the church.
Yeah.
The boys slept downstairs, the girls slept upstairs. How we did that.
I can't believe we did that.
That was, they took...
We had a lot of people.
They took the vent apart. We never knew this until afterwards. We could figure out why the vent was broken. They taken the vent apart, and instead of walking downstairs, they were crawling through the vent from the upstairs.
Dropping down into the kitchen.
Down into the kitchen to get snacks. Crazy. Yeah.
Good memories.
There was a lot of really
So then when let's go back to, I keep bringing us back to Market Square. We keep jumping to Division Street. So back to Market Square, that is where you first started writing our book.
Yes,
Because you had your office there and you go early in the morning.
Yeah, well, that was when, right close before I was working at Fonthill Building Supplies.
Right.
Seasonal.
Yes.
And so it was either off season, and then we decided after I was doing that, and then I was doing the hard landscaping business. I was working there, pastoring the church.
What was that called? JV Harris Services? No, what do we call that?
I don't remember.
I can't remember.
Anyhow,
JV
so
Harris something.
We said that's it. We're not doing all this anymore. I quit everything to go with the
Straight to the
church.
Full-time church.
We had a few churches that said we'll help support you. It wasn't for a lot, but it was something.
It helped.
It helped, and they.
If you go like this, it'll
watch.
stop. If you go like that, it'll stop. There you go.
Yeah. So I was just going to say there. I got that my
Your watch threw you off?
Star. What is that? Star Trek watch just threw me off. You beam me up, Scotty. Where are you? My watch is speaking to me. I do talk on it. It's very weird.
They say you don't have to actually put it up to your mouth.
No,
like you can just sit there and talk.
Yeah, I know.
But I do too.
I always do too. Well, there goes Roscoe because he can't.
He can't stand anybody.
Here's a brake squeaking, and he's got to go barking and everything. But yeah, so I mean, once we did that, then I had more time. It's when I did all the studies for my master's degree, and I did all the studies for my doctorate degree. We wrote the book, sent that out to have it edited and published. And
so then tell us the story about how God impressed on your heart to approach the people that were at 119 Division Street.
Well, when we got that building, we knew we'd been looking. We looked at
people were coming to visit, but it was too many people in the building. They would never come back. And they told us. They told us that was the reason. It wasn't. They loved it, but they were like, "Let us know when you get a bigger building.
We're not going to come back.
We'll come back."
So, and I used to go every Sunday afternoon because I didn't have a vehicle. She had the vehicle. I didn't have the vehicle, so I would ride my bicycle. And so instead of coming all the way riding my bicycle home and riding my bicycle back, it was just too much for the day. So I would just stay at church all day on Sundays. I wouldn't leave. So what I would do is in the afternoons, I would go and I'd walk throughout the downtown, and because in Canada all the bars were open, so they would be open and people would be sitting outside and everything. So I'd go around and hand out gospel tracts and talk to people. And I was pray. And so I was walking through the downtown and I was praying, and just came past Division Street. And didn't look like anybody was doing anything.
What was the name of it? Pilgrim Holiness
Church. Mm-hmm. And so I just stopped. I looked.
It was literally just a walk from our little building.
It was like the Lord was speaking to my heart and said, "You need to stop here." I looked at the building and I said, "Okay." I looked. I stopped. I started to walk off. I said, "No, you need to go knock on the door." Okay. So, all right. So I walked around. I knocked on the door. Nobody's there. See, Lord, nobody's there. Good. So I started to walk away, and it's like the Lord said, "No, you need to make contact with them." So I went back to the church, wrote a letter, just said, "Hey, if you guys have ever thought about getting rid of your building, we're looking for a building. This would be right close to where we are now." Anyhow, and took it over.
Did you at that point suggest
put it
switching
into the
buildings?
No.
No. Okay.
Because I didn't know anybody was there.
Right.
I didn't know anybody lived there.
Right.
So I took it over, put it in there through the mail slot. You're allowed to do that in Canada. And it was the next Friday morning that I was at church, and I always got there early. It was dark. I was praying, and the phone started ringing.
Like 6:30 in the morning.
What in the world?
Well, you said I was the only one that would be calling you.
And I'm like, she knows I'm praying.
She can wait.
She knows I spent this time walking and praying. And that was from Oswald J. Smith's book. He taught about walking and praying. Anyhow, so, but it was just like, again, the Lord was saying to me, answer the phone. So I walked around, I looked at this, Pilgrim Holiness Church. I was like, oh. So I picked up the phone, and it was their pastor. He said, I got in this morning early, and he said, I found this letter. And he said, we have our midweek services on Thursday night. And he said, no, I'm sorry, he didn't get it that morning. He said that they got it when they came in for the midweek service on Thursday night. And he said that last Sunday, that was the day that I had gone past the church, and the Lord told me to stop. He took his trustee out. He was the youngest member of their church, and he was 82 or 84 years old. And he said, I took the trustee out after church on Sunday, and I told him, I'm retiring, I'm not doing this anymore. You guys need to find something to do with the building. He said that we came in on Thursday night, we found your letter, and so we know that we want to talk to you. God wants you to have this building. That's how we got it.
Then how did it get to the point where we literally traded buildings? Like, how did that progress?
They talked about, because it was a bit of a back and forth for a while, and he was talking about the fact, some of the people want to keep going. They don't want to shut it down. They just don't want to have to take care of this building. And I said, well, listen, we've got this little building. Why don't you take that building?
We'll give you money.
And we said, we'll give you
money on top of it. Yeah.
That's what we did.
And they were all excited because they took the passage where it's talking about the Lord's Supper, and you don't eat the Lord's Supper because you're hungry. You do it in remembrance. So if you're hungry, eat at home. Don't eat at the Lord's Supper to satisfy your hunger. But they took that verse as you're not allowed to eat at the church. And so ever, like no potlucks, no nothing. And so when they saw our little building, they felt like it was more of a multi-purpose facility, and they were all excited because now they could eat. Now they could eat at church.
You could have potlucks and stuff.
Yeah, but it was great. It was wonderful. It was great.
Well.
The one thing that we traded, we always needed three things. We needed square footage. We needed one floor, so handicap accessibility, parking, and more square footage. That was it. Those were the three things that we were always looking for. So we had the parking and the handicap accessibility at Market Square, but we didn't have the square footage. So then we moved to Division, and we got the square footage, but it wasn't handicap accessible, and there was no parking. It was only on-street parking. So then we went to Chaffee Street. So we're at Division Street for how long? We said 3 years. 3 years.
At Chaffee, 2012.
So 3 years. And then the whole time, though, at Division Street, it felt like we barely moved into Division Street. Oh, we got to tell the story.
Division Street, so much happened, though. Division Street was where the real foundation of the church was built.
We have to say, when we were looking at Division Street, we had all the church come and look at it before we bought it, to get their ideas. But Jeff said before that, he was like, I'm sure you're going to see lots of things that need to be done, and feel free to mention them. But if you mention them, feel free to be prepared.
I said, if you mention it,
be prepared to.
You're the one that's volunteering.
You're volunteering.
To mention it means you're volunteering.
Do the job. So, our dear friend Linda, she told us at the end.
She was sitting in the pew. She said she was looking around and she saw something in the front at the auditorium, and she said, "You know what that needs?" Nope, it looks fine, great. Just the way it is.
That is so funny. I love her. She's one of my favorite people. I miss her a lot. She's way out east now. I think they're in like Nova Scotia or New Brunswick or something now.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, the Lord did so much at that church. It was incredible. Market Street was really kind of like a beginning of the scaffolding being built for the church. And I guess I could say, honestly, because that's where we went autonomous, was at Division Street.
Right.
So I think that's where the scaffolding came down. And that's where the real church emerged.
That was such a blessing, too, to be. It was kind of weird because, I had never heard of missionaries ever doing that before. But we had support. We had mentioned earlier in this podcast that we had a few churches that had supported us.
It wasn't a lot.
But it was so neat to be able to, for you, to be able to write them a letter and say,
thank you so much, but we don't need any.
Thank you for your support, but we are self-supporting. And what a blessing that was. That was a huge.
It really was. It was a big deal.
We said, now you can take the money you've been sending to us and give it to somebody else.
Yeah.
So then that was at Division Street, right?
Yeah, but initially, when I was out putting out flyers and stuff, and I would go door to door and flyers and soul winning and all that kind of stuff, I probably 3 or 4 or 5 times I passed Chaffee Street when it was a daycare. And I remember looking at the place thinking, oh my word, that's a church. Who in the world would ever have a church like that? There's no parking there at all whatsoever. How could you ever have a church in that place? That'd be one place I would never want to have a church was there. That's where we ended up going.
You need to learn not to say that.
In fact, it was for sale, and the Laverdiers came to me and they said, this building is for sale. This would be great. It's handicap accessible. There's no parking, but it's a big building. It's everything excepting for parking that we need. And I said, nope.
How many buildings?
I said, I won't go. I'm not interested. I've been past it. I've said, I'm not interested in that. I don't want to do it. No. They asked me 3 or 4 or 5 times, and I said, no. I personally am not interested. If I'm not, I don't have to be all end all to say at the church, but I'm not interested, and I won't vote for it. I don't even want to go look at it because I've seen it before, and I'm not interested. And I said, you do whatever you want to do. And then I got a call from them one day, and they said, hey, Pastor, we've got an appointment set to see the church at such and such a time. Why don't you meet us there? So I met them.
Did Ed meet you there too, or no?
I don't recall if he was there. He may have been there then too.
Because he lived just around the corner.
It was the Laverdiers, me. It may have been Ed.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Ed was really pushing for it too.
But that wasn't the first.
Because he could walk to church. That's why he wanted it.
That wasn't the first church you looked at, though. How many churches did you look at?
My word. We looked at so many churches.
Do you remember the one where you knocked on the door? You had the boys knock on the door? You said knock, because the Bible verse says,
yeah, I don't remember.
Knock and it shall be. Ask and you shall receive.
I'm sure that's the case.
So you went and knocked on the door. And then the time you went and Mr. Anderson.
Well, that was long. That was before we got to Market Square.
Okay.
That was long before that. That was the old Jewish synagogue.
He pulled up
And we all got there. It was at night. We all got there.
Poor guy.
Like, here comes Mr. Anderson, and we just see him driving through the lawn.
Up to the front door.
All the way through the lawn up to the front door.
Hey.
And
that was funny.
Oh, next time we do this, you got to make sure you shut that door because Roscoe is not going to stop barking.
Okay.
Crazy dog. But sorry for all the dog
I don't
barking.
think it's probably louder to us than it is on
probably so
the video.
Who knows? Yeah, but so yeah, we ended up at Chaffee Street, and that was the last place we were.
Which was huge. I mean, it had
every church,
big
every time
sanctuary,
we bought Chaffee
gym.
Street for
that was great.
$139,000.
Yeah.
We sold Division Street for $92,000. And so never did we ever have huge mortgages. So when we left, when I resigned, of course the church was on top side.
Best.
It was one great.
Yeah, best in every way.
Ever, but it was going fantastic.
And we were there 7 years.
We had all kinds of money in the bank. We owed so very little. I don't think we owed more than $20,000.
But we were starting to burst at the seams a little. It was getting
tons of people. We did all kinds of remodel projects, and it was going great.
It was great.
And that's what we were always taught when we were in school. We were taught you never leave when things are down. You always leave when things are on the top side. And it was time for us to go. There was a cloud that was overhanging the church. Something that happened there that was, of course, hurt me. I think to this day, even I suffer from that. To me, was a traumatic experience through some individuals at the church that decided to leave in a bad sort of way. But the Lord, that last year, just like it was, we saw more people saved, more people baptized, more people joining the church. The spirit of the church was like none other. We had evangelists and special speakers coming, and I always talk, I won't mention their names, but they were in the back of the auditorium after they came up to me with tears running down their face saying, man, this is the best spirit that we've felt in a church.
We didn't even know you guys,
that
we didn't know this existed.
Like this needs to go everywhere.
It was great. It was a big encouragement.
Yeah. So the church was going amazingly. I knew we needed to leave so that the cloud, because when you leave, the cloud would go with you, and I could take the cloud with me, and I did. And I kept telling them the church is going to go gangbusters once we're gone, and it did.
So that's the end of our story with the buildings of Beacon.
That's we ended up going back into the States. And
but we'll talk to that later. We're skipping so much.
Offered a position in the States, and so we...
So we'll back up.
There.
We're going to back up
That's
now.
all kind of the churches that you brought up today.
Yeah,
So
those are the buildings.
Taking the train of the church.
Yeah.
But coming back to family aspects through all of that. Of course, we raised our kids.
So let's
Market
back
Square,
up.
119 Division Street.
Let's back up a little bit. So we started the school when our kids were in grades 1, 2, and 3.
Which was not something I wanted to do
and
either. Mike Taranjo, his kids, he needed school for his kids. We needed school for our kids. And he said to me, you start the school. I said, no. He had a new building that they got that had already had a Christian school in it. So I had everything set up for the ACE program. Everything was there. Everything was ready to go. I said, you got everything. You start the church. Nope, I'm not starting the church. I don't want to do it.
School.
It's school. And I said, well, I don't want to do it either. And he said, well,
you start the school, I'll send my kids. We said, you start the school, we'll send your kids. Our kids. And finally, so we started the school.
So we ended up starting the school in that tiny little building.
Yep, and then we went to Division Street. And so back to family. So our kids were little. They were 6, 7, and 8 at the time. And then that was when we lived at Gadsby Avenue.
Do you have your timer going?
I do have my timer going. We have 5 minutes left. So we will just take the last 5 minutes just to talk about our houses, I guess. So we lived at Gadsby, and then
the first house we bought.
We talk a little bit about how we got our next house on Abbey. That was pretty neat.
It was one of the people in the church.
Well, Mr. Anderson, we talked about him several times today.
He passed away. He was the first deacon of our church.
And the
Fantastic man.
The family didn't know what to do with the house. So they asked you.
So, and I said, it was like the Lord said, it was bad. It was really, really bad. So we got it for very little money.
Leaky basement, leaky roof.
Our house on Gadsby. Bought that, but I completely remodeled that. Almost killed myself.
It really did. We moved into that house with no hot water. and no kitchen. That was interesting.
Completely remodeled from the foundation footings. We had to fix
all
everything.
It was all paneling, dark paneling.
Plumbing, all new electric.
Yep.
All everything.
Remember we
all
got
new
those
walls.
used cupboards? We'd never buy used cupboards again.
Oh.
We tried to make it fit. It turned out okay. We only needed one. We had to get custom made one corner cupboard. I just realized that Amazon box has been in the background the whole time. Oh well. We just had to custom make that one cupboard in the corner. Remember that?
Yeah.
And all the rest you got to fit.
Yeah.
And then you cut that wall down.
We ended up
go
building
downstairs.
The great big garage there later on.
Redid the garage was
bigger than the house.
3/4. It was a 600 square foot garage, and the house was 900 square feet. So it was 2/3 the size of the house.
People would walk down the
it was
street.
Beautiful,
and they would look at when I was out working. They'd say, "How did you get away with that?"
Because he has
I
a
built the
wife that
garage.
loves him a lot. That's why. But that was beautiful. That garage sold that house when we finally sold it.
No, it was.
I think,
whole
but it was
property
nice. It was nice.
Everything.
Did we
there
have-
was the porch on the back with the pergola, and I remodeled the bedroom after we had already remodeled it once.
Took 2
and
bedrooms
put
in one.
The double doors going outside
Yeah, that
onto the
was
deck
nice.
with a pergola over top of it.
We've had so many forever homes. I think every house I've moved into, I'm like, okay, this is it. We won't have to move again. Like I thought that with
It's the only house I
Gadsby.
haven't
Then we
remodeled.
moved to Abbey.
It's the only house I haven't remodeled that
This
we
one?
owned.
Yeah, well, it's getting remodeled right now, though.
I'm not doing it.
You're not doing it, though. But anyway, so we'll stop at Abbey, and then we'll pick up moving to Miller next time.
Miller High Life.
No. Miller Road.
All right.
So anyway, it was
That's
nice
kind of
to
a
do
little
this
bit
again. It's been a
about,
while.
The churches and stuff, and
Yep.
we haven't had a podcast.
It's a beautiful, beautiful day. Absolutely gorgeous.
I guess all of it says that if we can do it, you can do it too.
That's right.
So just
That's true.
follow God's leading, and He'll give you the steps to take.
That's right.
So, all right.
Anybody that's watching this right away, as soon as we drop it tomorrow, happy Father's Day. Sunday's Father's Day.
Is it?
It is Father's Day.
Forgot all about it.
You have to make sure you call your dad.
I wasn't even thinking tomorrow was Saturday either. I couldn't even remember what day it is.
I know, my days are mixed up too.
Oh,
Next week's
they
going to be
always
just
are.
as bad.
Every weekend.
Because you're
seems
off
to
on
be-
Monday.
Yeah. So
I was telling somebody that they were like, I'm so confused the days. I'm like, we're just living perpetually between Christmas and New Year's. You know that feeling between Christmas and New Year's? You don't know what day it is. You don't, it's just basically constantly eating leftovers. It's just crazy.
yeah.
But anyway,
All right. Well,
thanks for joining
watching,
us.
everybody, and we'll see you guys again on the next one.
See ya.
Thank you for watching me hot test. It's been fun having you here. Spud and sweet potato are glad you took the time to join us. We'll see you again real soon.